Hey everyone, I did get the new wave in today from a friend in Hong Kong. Feel free to message me on Instagram if you would like his information if you're interested in buying these early, but we are going to be looking at the new Cal Kestis figure from Jedi Survivor. If you guys were watching the Game Awards the other day, we got our first look at gameplay from Jedi Survivor. I am fully hyped for this game. I'm not crazy about some of the character design of some of the enemies that we saw. I feel like they look a little bit kind of like Overwatch rather than Star Wars, but we are going to look at just Cal Kestis himself today. We are seeing the typical plastic-free packaging here, nothing new. This is the first fully plastic-free packaging wave that we've got. This is number 17 in the gaming greats since the reboot of the packaging to the Galaxy line here. And then I really dig these little, graphics on the side showing the figure in kind of, there's the standard T-pose. Actually, I think in the toy industry, designers call it the waiting for the bus pose, just the character standing with its arms at its side like that. The little box here has BD1 in it. It was a little tricky to open, and then a little tricky to get him out, but this is the same exact BD1 sculpt that we've seen previously. I will compare this at the end to the old one. And then we have his lightsaber, which is actually really skinny. Like, this is definitely the smallest lightsaber that I've ever seen in the Black Series or in any other toy line. It's just really thin. And then Cal himself, looking quite shiny like the Din Djarin that we saw earlier, and I actually threw out this piece before I remembered that it was included, and that is the blaster here, which we have not seen in any of the gameplay, so I was really excited to see whether or not we were going to have some gunplay in Jedi Survivor, and I'm sure we will, and this does fit really nicely into the holster. My taste was a little bit soured from that Din Djarin Morak figure, but that was a much older body, and just like a head that was kind of retrofitted to fit, and also the head needed to be designed to fit inside the helmet, so that's kind of why that figure sucked. But this figure, this is the Black Series at its best right now. This is like, a 2022 body, definitely. There's no pins on any of the joints, just single jointed knees and elbows with decent articulation, and just a really beautiful sculpt overall. Butterfly joints at the shoulders that kind of click into place here. That was really nice to see, and really impressive range of motion here. Like, it's rare to have a figure that can do that with the arms and get them that close together when straight out in front, and I don't think this will be any trouble in getting him into two-handed lightsaber poses. He also has that little peg on his right hip that the lightsaber can click into. Here's the articulation at the knees and the elbows, and the splits, the side splits, I guess. Let's see how that skinny little lightsaber fits into that hand. He obviously does have a trigger finger on that left hand there. He actually holds onto this pretty decently. It does feel thin. And this figure overall just feels kind of small. I was kind of surprised. We'll compare this to the other Cal Kestis at the end to see if I am right about that. I was definitely pleasantly surprised about the articulation here and the body. This feels like one of those figures that is just going to be sitting on my desk. Cal Kestis is one of, if not my favorite Star Wars character, and I really hope we see him in live action someday, but just the hype for this game, as well as this just being a beautiful sculpt, I feel like this is one that's going to sit on my desk that I'm going to just be fiddling with when I'm on phone calls or just, reading stuff online. So I gotta be honest, I tried for like 5 minutes to get BD attached at the belt here, and I was able to get him to kind of stay for a second, but then none of the poses, like I couldn't get him peeking out over Cal's hip there the way that it was in one of the promo photos. But I guess I'm gonna wait to see kind of how BD hangs out in this game, the way that he was on Cal's shoulder in the previous game. I don't know, I'll make a decision later about how I want to display this, but for now I just wanted to get on with the review and didn't want to kind of spend my whole night trying to make this work. So let's look at the old Cal Kestis. So here's the thing, Cal in this game is supposed to be 5 years older, and so this is the original Jedi Fallen Order figure, and I mean, Cal just looks like a teenager in this new one compared to the older figure. Like, he looks 5 years younger, I think, instead of 5 years older. So I'm definitely going to need to get a custom head from FetClone like this one that I have on the right. Just for fun, I'm going to show you my painted BD1 that I made myself using just some Vallejo paints and I think like a silver Sharpie to do all those details. This is one of the smallest, most like detailed pieces that I've done, but the raised details made it a lot easier than I thought it would be. But you can compare it to the newer BD1 and you can see that it's the exact same sculpt. So I took Cal outside and did a matte spray on him just to get rid of that shine. I think it looks much better now, And I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys a few poses that I just think look great. This is a really fun figure to play around with, like I said before. You know, some of the older figures especially, you try to put them into certain poses and they just really fight you on it. This one just kind of goes into these poses pretty easily and then holds them nicely. And he does have the trigger finger that does fit really nicely on the gun, so that was nice to see. And I, again, really excited for gunplay in this game in addition to the lightsaber combat. So here is one last look at the figure. This is before I did the matte spray, so just keep that in mind. I didn't pose him up with any enemies in this video because I plan on doing a shelf series video for Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor now that this figure is out. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time.